Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. So I had a message coming through today. Spirit was saying that there's somebody out here, or multiple somebodies, who feel like they have been thrown into the deep end, right? This could be a current feeling where you feel like you are currently in the deep end, or you feel like within this last year you have been thrown into the deep end, or maybe even from birth, right? Like you just got thrown into the deep end and you either learned how to swim or you remembered that you know how to swim. That's what I was hearing, right? But Spirit was saying that if you're seeing this video, by no chance are you seeing this, and I 100% believe within my heart and my soul that you are swimming. Okay? It might feel like you're sinking. It might feel like you're sinking, but what is happening is this activation of memory, right? You're remembering that you already know how to swim, right? You already know how to be yourself. You already know how to be the divine expression of creation that you are, right? It's written inside of you. You don't have to go out of your way to do it, right? But I was just getting this like sink or swim babies energy where somebody feels like they were just thrown into something that they weren't prepared for, right? And this was a huge energy. This was, you know, a little bit uncomfortable to sit in, and I get it. I watched my sister get thrown into the water as a little one. Um, she just got thrown into the pool. My dad was like, sink or swim, baby. And luckily for her and everybody involved, she swam, right? And she continues to swim. And she, like myself and so many others of us, have been really thrown into either some type of dysfunction within our families, or like communities, friend groups, work, um, have been thrown into this dysfunction to remember that we know how to swim, we know how to navigate this, and also it allows us an opportunity to gain experience and to mature, okay? Because Spirit was showing me a collective who within this last year has matured in huge, massive ways, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically even, right? Um, I was seeing a large scale maturing of a very beautiful soul group. And I love it. Okay. So I feel like whoever this message is for, you know that you are a wisdom keeper, right? Maybe even like I was getting like telekinesis. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Like where you can move things with your mind, where you can make things happen, right? Work with the elements even, or things like this. I'm seeing a collective who is wildly gifted that is coming online more and more every day, and remembering how to navigate the waters here by almost like a muscle memory, right? It's like a coding, like almost even instincts that are just like written into you. And okay, wow. So I wrote down maturity, right? And a lot of it had to do with learning about what you're responsible for. Okay? Because there is a point, a beautiful sacred point in the awakening journey for so many people, where you feel a need to go around and wake up people, right? And this is where the maturity comes through. Okay? Because it's almost like becoming an elder, right? Or becoming a parent, or almost even a babysitter. I was getting that like being a babysitter and watching after all of the sleeping ones, right? And so I was getting also this analogy of never wake a sleeping baby, because then they wake up and they're cranky, and then, you know, you're trying to explain to them why you woke them up, and they don't understand. Not even a little bit. They don't understand. They're just like, what am I doing awake right now? Right? I'm not ready for this. And so I feel like for this collective too, also, you have learned like where it is your position and what is your responsibility. And the responsibility is on the person with inside of you, right? This year has been a beautiful opportunity for so many to ground into their bodies and truly stay rooted in their knowing, right? Learning to trust their inner guidance system. And this is where like that navigation system was coming through, and this energy of navigating the waters, right? I was never thrown into the water like that. Like literally, I didn't learn to swim like that. I did, however, learn through living on the beach, and that's actually where I got my nickname, Cece. My dad, um, he called me Crazy Candice because I just would run full force into the waves, and they would just slam me back on shore, and then I'd get up and do it, and just repetitively until I learned how to swim. And maybe some of you guys are that way, right? Maybe some of you purposefully throw yourself into the water, purposefully run full force into the water without fear, without, hesitation. And I was getting that energy. There are many, many souls who have thrown themselves into the water, right? I feel like these are the souls who have been on the journey for their entire life consciously and have been awake all this time, right? But there are many beautiful, amazing souls who got to kind of snooze in, right? Like some of you guys got to snooze in and you didn't have to you know, be awake the whole time, and be aware of all the stuff. Like you got to experience this reality in like such an innocent way, and it's so sacred. But then when you do wake up and it is abrupt and you feel like you're thrown into the deep end, it can be a huge shock to your system, right? And there's a lot of things that you don't learn. You don't learn what truly is your responsibility, and or at least you aren't coached or trained or taught all of these things, and like respect for other people, right? And this is where like the maturing energy was coming through, where this collective has truly matured in a way where you can discern when it is your job to inform somebody and when it is your place to just hold space, right? And kind of watch the kids sleep, you know? I was seeing that energy of, and also understand too, being a parent, um, there are certain things, concepts, whatever, that I could explain to my kids at the ages that they're at now, and they wouldn't comprehend it, right? And and so seeing that on a soul level here, there are some souls who come here that really genuinely wish to maintain their innocence, right? And when I say innocence, I mean like have this experience and not know all of the hardships and like the intense contrast that some of us have experienced, right? Some of us come here to experience this contrast so that we can feel our way through it, learn the lessons, learn to discern, have the experience, have the life experience, which is the most important thing, right? You didn't just read a book, right? You haven't just read stories about people being thrown into life, being thrown into the deep end, being thrown into the ocean, and making their way back to shore, or making their way even just to the surface. You have lived these things. These are things that you have earned through experience, and these gifts that are coming online, these gifts that are activating, getting stronger within the collective, is earned because of respect, right? Like, you have learned to respect not only yourself, but other people, right? You respect other people's journeys. You're not going around knocking doors, right? You're not trying to wake everybody up, but you are there, however, to either, gently rock someone back to sleep if that is what you feel so led to do, or to coach them through and, you know, gently hold space while they are waking up, right? And gently just be there, just be that presence, that it is a comfort as they reach their own, you know, levels of awareness and consciousness, right? Because there is something about this specific collective who has earned the right and the respect of spirit to to hold space for others without judgment, just observing and and loving them unconditionally as they wake up, right? Because there is a time that we're in. I feel like it's now, obviously it's now, but I feel, and spirit was showing me, it's going to be increasingly more intense for some people to accept the truth, right? I'm just going to say that because there's so many different truths and there's so many different things that need to be accepted. And there's a lot of people here who have no clue, right? Now, this is where it was getting a little tricky, and it took a while for me to even kind of fill through, because I'm like, Spirit, there's people who are meant to stay asleep, and all the while there is still a raise in awareness happening, right? So I'm like, how does this work? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It wasn't making sense to me, right? I'm like, this, it seems like it's contradicting itself. It's counterintuitive to me, right? And so I had to sit with it for a minute. Spirit's like, it's more about these, some souls simply don't have to go through such intense training, such intense contrast, and it's all a matter of levels, right? Um, and if we want to look at it in terms of like grade levels, some people are still in kindergarten, and they simply are not going to be tested in the way that you would test somebody who's in high school, right? So that's the way that spirit was showing me it to me, or making it make sense to me, because I'm thinking, how do we have people who are to be protected? Because there are some souls here who are asleep and their innocence, right? And when I say innocence, I mean their 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 ability to come here and have their experience without having to go through, like I said, be tested on with a higher standard, right? The standards are low, right? The bar is set really low, and they are being and having experiences that aren't quite as complex, right? Is the word that I'm hearing right now. So the complexity of the level that you are is very high, right? These are highly evolved, very old souls who have been through the lower levels, right? You've been through the layers and the levels of experience that allow you to be like that innocent little kindergartner, right? And so now, right, and I feel like that's the kiddie pool life, right? Like, that's the kiddie pool life. You get thrown in, it's sink or swim, baby, but the water is like this high, and there's an adult there that's watching and supervising to make sure you don't go under and drown, right? But this collective, this soul group, spirit's like, nope, this is like This is like your final year of school, right? Your final year of training, and you're born, and then it just like throws you straight into the deep end. Sink or swim, baby. It's like you know what to do, right? Muscle memory through lifetimes, through experiences, through accessing the consciousness and awareness that you have within yourself and knowing how to do that, remembering how to do that, right? And connecting with that inner guidance. So that's what I was seeing mostly, is a collective who has matured in such a beautiful way to earn the respect of not only oneself, but people in their lives, and also of the Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, God, the universe, whatever it is you want to call it. You have earned the respect and the right to be able to manipulate your reality, is basically what I was seeing, right? Um, what else did I write? Been maturing. Yes, and I love you guys. I'll just say that. I'll say that I love you guys. And this year has been so beautiful, and it has been the most amazing opportunity to prepare yourself for what is to come, right? This beautiful unfolding. And a lot of it has had so much to do with regulation of the nervous system, of, your emotions, your thoughts, and being able to hold that space for yourself so that you can be productive in your desire to be there while other people wake up, right? You don't want to be that person that comes and abruptly wakes everybody up, that everyone's going to be pissed off at. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you wake me up? I was sleeping so soundly and it was wonderful, right? You don't want to be that guy. However, you do want to be the one who is there, who has done it, right? Who isn't going to try and regulate for the other people, but be able to assist them and co-regulate with them as they discover some hard truths, right? And I say hard truths because there are a lot of programs, things that we have been taught that aren't true, and it can be incredibly devastating to discover that what it is that you thought is just not right. And trust me, I've been there in so many different ways. Since an early age, I've experienced this and I've questioned what is and what isn't, right? You're like, oh. And because some of you guys have been experiencing that, right? Like, been questioning what is and what isn't from an early age, you know what it feels like. You know what it feels like when you discover the truth, and you know how devastating it can be. And so you learning to regulate, you learning to process your own traumas so that you can genuinely hold space for others as they wake up, that is the most beautiful gift. That truly is. And just like as parents do, um, you hold space and you just allow room for co-regulation. And that's so much of what we're doing with the earth too, with Gaia, back and forth, right? Like, we are co-regulating together, not only as a collective, right? Not only as, if you guys are parents with your children and with your community, right? But like with the earth, we are co-regulating and mastering that so that we can better assist the people or souls or whatever as they awaken. And I'm seeing some people just kind of snoozing, right? Like those kindergartners in, in this like soul level situation, those kindergartners that you talk to them not in a condescending way, right? But in a gentle way, in a loving way, in a way that is age appropriate, right? So consider that if you have been pushy, or if you have been, a little bit aggressive with your approach to assisting here, um, just remember to have grace and compassion and respect for everybody's journey, everybody's level, right? And not coming from a place of ego or trying to be like, oh, oh, I'm this and this and this, or whatever. No, just express yourself, be yourself. If you want to create some content, put it out there. This, I feel like, is a wonderful way to not knock doors, but allow people to align themselves with certain information. You know what I mean? So either way, grace, compassion, love for self, right? And appreciation, because this collective has grown so beautifully over this last year. And I'm genuinely so grateful to be a part of it. And yeah, I love you guys. You're amazing, and you're beautiful, and you're wanted, and you're needed. And I appreciate you. So.